Hey everybody, welcome. We're going to actually use the Infusible ink product by Cricut. I'm going to show you how simple and easy it is, but there are a few steps to this that you have to do or it's not going to work right? And I want you to be successful doing it. So I'm going to go over all the things you would need. We are going to be working on the Cricut little baby bodysuit, okay? Now this is a specialty material, so this is what Cricut are calling their blanks, okay? And they're going to be available at Michael's until October the 1st, and they'll be all different sizes of shirts and so forth, and the little bodysuits, okay? So, but you cannot do this on just any cotton bodysuit. It has to be these specialty blended polyester spandex, or it's not going to work, okay? So I want to be clear about that. So you're going to have your bodysuit. You will need, of course, to have the Infusible ink product, and we're going to open this up in a minute so you see everything you get inside of there. You will also need to have your Easy Press, okay? So I'm going to be using the Easy Press 2, the 6x7, and you'll need to have your Cricut Easy Press mats. You will be cutting the material on your green standard Cricut mat, okay? You cannot use the other mats. The material's not going to stick to that very well. You want to have a new sticky green standard mat. You'll also need a couple of sheets of just plain old white cardstock, okay? So whatever brand, it doesn't matter. You just want some white cardstock, and then you will want to have, instead of using a weeding tool for this, I recommend you use a pair of fine tip tweezers, okay? So these are the Cricut ones that come in the weeding kit that I love. And then you're going to want to have a pair of scissors because you're going to need to cut around some things once you get this cut out, trim it basically. And I'm sure you guys are wondering, why do I have this out? Okay, this is one of those lint rollers. Now, when we go to adhere our material, our ink product to the material, we want to make sure that there's no lint on it at all. And of course, you know, when you get things out of the package at the store, there's usually lint on it somewhere. You cannot have any lint on this process since it's ink seeking into the material. It would show up if you have any lint on it. So I just bought a big thing of these, a big pack of these, I don't know, like $7 at Amazon. So we're going to have this, all right? So that's what you're going to need out. Now let's take a look at what you're going to get in the Infusible ink transfer sheets. This one is the one that has the 2 patterns and 2 solid colors in it. There's another one that only has 2 transfer sheets in it. So there'll be 2 different ones. Now, these are heat activated, and it is absolutely imperative you do not get any moisture or water on these, okay? So this is not the time to be drinking your favorite beverage of the day. You want to have a dry area, okay? And they come in this protective plastic sleeve, okay? This part you don't necessarily need to keep, but you'll just cut that open and pull these off, okay? Inside of the tube, you're going to find a little sample stretch of the material, so you can do a test. If you're nervous about doing this and ruining a shirt or a bodysuit, then you have a little piece that comes in each of these rolls that will give you a little sample to apply. That's where I did that other one I showed you in the first video. Okay, you also, there is a little packet of, this is those silicone packets that help protect from moisture. Keep this, don't throw it away. You can put it back in your box. I highly recommend you keep your boxes because you're supposed to store any of your leftovers in a cool, dark place. So this is not something you're going to sit out in the sun. Each of these sheets, it says Infusible ink on the back of them. Okay, they look like scrapbook paper, okay, but they're not scrapbook paper. It is an ink on here, okay? So they look very pale right now, but when we apply the heat to it, they get very vibrant, okay? So in this particular pack, you're going to have 2 patterns and you're going to have 2 solids, okay? So once you have those out, you have your little sample, you don't need that. Inside your roll, you are also going to have pieces of butcher paper, okay? The butcher paper is really important, and you will be using this. So there you get 4 sheets, so one basically for each of the different transfer sheets that you get in the roll and in the package. So there's 4 of these, so we'll be using one of those. And Cricut actually has a little piece of paper that they put in here because they have created a special website. Not just a help article. They've created a special website called infusibleinc.com that is launching here in the next few days that you can go to, and there are also tutorial videos there and step-by-steps and all kinds of things to help you learn how to do this product. You will take your Cricut standard grip mat. You can tell how sticky it is because you could hear me when I peeled that off. And you're going to apply it with the ink side facing up and do it just like you would a scrapbook paper or a piece of vinyl. And you're just going to apply it onto your mat. This is why it's important that you have a sticky mat and your hands are dry and not wet, because you want to make sure that this is stuck on here. So it's going to look like this. And once you get the material onto the mat, you will put it in your Cricut machine just like you're cutting anything else. And in Design Space, you will have selected whatever designs you want to cut for that particular pattern. Now, just as if you were using an iron-on product, you are going to need to mirror your image so that it will cut it in the reverse, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and do all the cutting, and then we're gonna come back. Once it's cut, what you need to do is flip your mat over, and you're going to slowly peel it away from the mat, okay? This is a super sticky mat. You want a sticky mat, and you're just gonna peel it away just like this, okay? And then set your mat off to the side. So now you have your design is cut out. Now I want to save as much of this material as I can, so I will take my scissors, and normally what I do is I look in my Design Space mat screen and I figure out, I can tell by rubbing my finger over this where the image is, but I can look in Design Space and say, oh yeah, it looks like I need to cut this 4 inches across here because my image is cut here on this material. And then and then I trim the rest of it away so that then I can save the rest of it to use on a different project, okay? So once I've done that, then what I want to do is then you need to weed it. Now this gets weeded completely differently than anything else that we have, and to weed. And so part of what you want to do is you're going to take it and kind of roll, or what Cricut likes to call it, cracking. And you're going to just gently roll it with your fingers, and what's going to happen is that the images that you cut are going to kind of pop out a little bit, okay? So if you can see here, it's popped out some. And then once you kind of cracked it, as they call it, and then I want you to flip it over, and what you want to do is you want to take a corner and you want to flip it over so that that clear liner on the back is the sticky sheet, okay? Now this is the trick. All right, so what you want to do is you're going to leave everything on the sticky sheet that you want to apply, and everything else we're going to pull away from this sticky sheet, okay? So we're going to do that. I'm just going to slowly go through. I may need to rub it down with my finger a little bit and get these on here, okay? And I'm just going to slowly peel this off, leaving behind the part of the image that I want to keep. You just need to be a little careful with it. This is the part that may take you a few seconds to get it down. It's a little bit trickier than just working with the vinyl. So once you get your image off, okay, then you need to look and see, are there any pieces on the inside that you need to take off. We're going to be making the baby bodysuit, and so you'll get the bodysuit out of the package, and then what I want you to do is take a plain sheet of white cardstock and cut it down so that it fits inside of your baby bodysuit, okay? This is going to protect the ink from getting onto the back of or seeping through onto the back side of your baby bodysuit, or you do this same process even if you're doing one of the t-shirts. And then I have a Cricut Easy Press mat here because I want to protect my surface, and then I also am going to lay a piece of white cardstock on top of that Easy Press mat, and then I'm going to have my bodysuit. Okay, just in case for whatever reason, if I mess up a little bit, I don't want to take a chance that I'm going to get ink on top of my Easy Press mat. Okay, that would not be good. So once you get this ready, you're gonna get this set like this. Then I want you to go ahead and turn on your Cricut Easy Press. Okay, so on the Easy Press 2, we're gonna turn it on, and it needs to be set at 385, and we're going to do it for 15 seconds to start. So I'm going to move this one down to 15 seconds. So we're just going to wait for this to heat up. Now the Cricut Easy Press 2 can go up to 400 degrees. With the coasters, you definitely have to have 400 degrees. With the bodysuits and the t-shirts, you're going to be using 385 for your temperature, okay? And we're just going to wait for that to heat up. Now, if you haven't used the Cricut Easy Press, they are so simple. They take all the guesswork out of it because you set your temperature, you set your time that you need to leave it onto your item, and it beeps at you and lets you know that when it's ready, the heat's ready, and then it also lets you know, it counts down the timer. So it's awesome. While this is heating up, what I want you to do is, now that you've got your baby bodysuit prepped with a piece of white, it has to be white cardstock. A smooth cardstock is best. Don't use one that has texture on it. You want to use a smooth cardstock, and it needs to be white. That's very important because you don't want any dye transfer from using colored cardstock. And so I've got my Easy Press mat, I've got a 12 by 12 sheet of white cardstock, I have my bodysuit with this in it. Now I want you to take that lint brush, that roller that I showed you earlier, and I know this is going to seem silly to you. However, when you take these garments out of the packages, sometimes, you know, little fibers get left behind or little strings from when they sewed it together. It's really imperative that this be as smooth as possible so that your ink adheres to the shirt just great, okay? So I just want you to roll it across the material. And I may do this 3 or 4 times. And even though your eye can't see that there's something left behind on there, if you look at it very closely, you may pick up that you can definitely tell that there was some lint left behind. Okay, we want to make sure we don't have any of that going on. Now, once you do that, of course, you'll tear this sheet off, and but for right now, I'm just going to put the wrapper back on it so it doesn't stick to anything else. All right, so now that I have this ready, my Easy Press is ready, set at 385, and for 15 seconds. I am going to, let me move this out of the way, I'm going to go ahead, and I'm using the 6x7 Easy Press because this is the best size for using on the little bodysuits, okay? Because it fits just perfectly into this surface area, and it doesn't, the bigger Easy Presses cover up the seams, and you never ever want to do this infusible ink product on a seam, okay? Because your Easy Press is not going to heat evenly on top of that, and you're not going to get the best result. So you want to make sure, I'm just going to set it here, and I am going to hit the go button, the green go button, and I'm just going to let this count down for 15 seconds while we're warming up the surface of the material of this blank baby bodysuit. And you would do the same process for the shirts too. Okay, so it has finished that. Now what I want to do is I want to change the temperature. The temperature is going to stay the same, but the time's going to change to 40 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the little time button here, and I'm going to add it to 40 seconds. Now that I have this ready, I'm ready to put my design down that we've already weeded and cut out. Now, you may have one big image, and all you would have to do is set it down onto this, now that you've weeded it. Let's say I was only going to put the bow on here, okay? I could set the bow on here and just immediately do it. But the image that I picked says Daddy's Little Girl, and it has some hearts and some bows and a bow on it, okay? So I'm going to be layering my image. So how do you do that? I took a pair of scissors after I weeded everything. Let me see if you can see this. And I cut out around, on the transfer tape, I cut out around the edges. Okay, so I'm pretty close to where the edges of that is, and I did that for each of the shapes because you cannot adhere this on top of each other because then your colors won't work, right? So I want to make sure that I have this set. So I'm going to put the first piece down. I want to try it, once I put it in place, I'm kind of pressing it on where the sticky part of, you're putting the shiny side facing up towards you, the shiny plastic side, and the color side's going against the shirt, okay? So now I'm going to add my next piece here. And like I said, I have cut around the images so that none of the plastic part of this is overlapping each other. So once you have your image onto your shirt, then you're going to use a piece of the butcher paper that was in the roll that you got in your box, okay? With your transfer sheets, inside the 4 colored transfer sheets in this particular box of them, there are 4 pieces of butcher paper. Then you would put your butcher paper on top of your image, and you're going to make sure it's covered all of it, okay? You want to make sure that it is, the butcher paper is as big as your Easy Press that you're using, okay? These are nice big sheets, so the Easy Press will be fine. Now we've got our sandwich, so we have our Easy Press mat on the bottom, then I have a piece of white cardstock, then I have my bodysuit with a piece of white cardstock inside of that, then I have my image transfer, the infusible ink sheets, and then I have my butcher paper on top of that. So I am going to lay my Easy Press down on here, making sure that I'm not on the edge of the rib of the top of the shirt. It's completely smooth, and now I'm going to hit the go button, and it's going to count down the 40 seconds. Now I'm just going to apply a little bit of pressure here. I want to leave the layers flat and not shift and move them around. So I'm not sliding my Easy Press around. I laid it straight down on top of it, and then I'm just going to hold it just barely any pressure, just to make sure that it's getting, you know, the heat's really going down into it. You know it's only 40 seconds, and then it beeps at you. Now I'm going to lift this straight up. Okay. Now that you have put your heat onto your object, you're going to wait and let this cool, okay? So I know that's tempting for you to take it off right away so you can see it, but you need to let it cool down, and that'll just take a few seconds. We're just going to let that cool down for a second. Now, I did want to talk about the fact that when you are finished using your transfer sheets, make sure you roll them back up and you put them back into your box that they came in, because that will give them a dark, cool place to be. And you want to make sure that you put this in your room so that you have it where it's not going to get wet. And then the little boxes came with a silicone pack, okay? Make sure that you keep this, and I'm going to put this inside of here because this helps keep it dry as well, okay? So we're going to recycle that again. So I put the sheets back in here, the transfer sheets and the butcher paper back into my box, and then I'm going to set this over in my craft area where I know that they're not going to get wet. Okay. All right, so this should be cooling off now. So we're going to move this. Okay, now you can reuse the butcher paper that came in the package as long as it doesn't have any ink transferred onto it. Okay, so this one's clean. I could use this sheet again. So I'm going to kind of move this off to the side, and I will be able to use this later. Once this is cooled down, then you can do the big reveal. I'm going to turn this around so you guys can see it as we start to take it off. I'm just going to pull this off, and you're going to see how stinking cute it is. Now, if for some reason some of the transfer gets left behind, you can just use your tweezers and peel that up. So I'm just going to set this off to the side. Look how cute that's looking already, and look how vibrant the colors are. Remember how they were very pale looking? Oh my gosh. Look how cute that is. It's adorable. Now this is immediately, of course you're not going to put it on the baby while it's hot, but you can actually use this right away. You can also wash it if you want to go ahead and wash it, but look how cute that is. And when you put it, I don't have a baby to put it on, but but if you put it on the baby, it's going to stretch, right, when you're putting it on the baby, but look, it goes right back and the design looks so cute. This is the Cricut Infusible ink system that I just showed you. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Don't worry about it. You are going to be able to do this. I know it seems like a lot of steps. I went very slowly to make sure that we talked about each step and why you need to remember to do it that way so that you get the best results possible, because I want you to be successful using this. I will be doing future tutorials for you, so be sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I love it when you give me a thumbs up. Click the bell icon so you get notifications of the future tutorials that are coming out, where we're going to be making some of the other bigger t-shirts. We're also going to be doing the tote bags. We're going to be doing the coasters, and we're going to be using those infusible markers that are super cool to use. I hope you guys leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Just be kind in your comments, please. And I will see you guys later. Hope you guys have a great day and happy crafting.